stars lean down to kiss you, and I lie awake and miss you. Pour me a heavy dose of atmosphere.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Christopher Bowen. And this is another edition of The Oyster. Once again, announcing the beauty and the magnificence of what it means to be alive in the Renaissance that we're all wonderfully actively working towards, and how beautifully we are able to coalesce in wonderful, beautiful ways as we constantly, continuously grow, develop, gain strength and wisdom, and gain ability to be able to stand. And we see wonderful things happening around the world. Absolutely drastic, beautiful changes that are really accelerating at a faster rate, which is absolutely what is to become. Well, that's what we're doing. We're in the process of becoming. So we are now able to not only create with the wonderful precursor engineering functions, items, and tools, but we can co-create with the higher level of consciousness, which brings accelerated advancement. Higher levels of consciousness for how we interact with each other, how we interact with our inanimate objects, what we call inanimate objects, and how we are going to be able to interact with with the type of renaissance and a level of renovation that we are so close to getting. And it's so close, it's basically already here. I'm surprised it's here. What are those things? And the wonderful thing is that, we get to really not only build the galactic society, that is absolutely wonderful that we get to do, but we get to, use not only, we no longer have to, use a shovel to dig holes. Now, for example, we have the analogy we can use we can use caterpillars. There's a company that, caterpillars, they use machines that dig holes, those big dirt scooper outers. And instead of using that, we have Livingstone. Livingstone is basically it's rock that takes in the invisible light waves and converts them into light, and then that lasts for millions and millions of years. It's the same light source for the reason the sun. And the sun it's not cold. It's not hot, it's cold. It's only hot when it interacts with the Earth's atmosphere. And that's something we get to announce. Yay, surprise, it's already been known. The sun is cold. The sun is cold. So, another wonderful thing is the fact that of course Livingstone is just so spectacular. There's so many freaking cool things that we can do with Livingstone. It's just so awesome. And I'll let imagination do the wondrous, beautiful, positive things for that. But because we, and that's what helps us segue into it. The fact that there's U.S. Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, actual 3 judicial, legislative, and executive system that is being refined, more elegant, and being more eloquent, and being more, available to process, to make things happen ultimately, and to pass wonderful transitional accelerators. ultimately that's what they do. And that's, of course, that's the wonderful thing is about, and that's the wonderful thing about, in a sense, small government. That's it's really, it's based off of the preamble. For example, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, all of that, we can actually actually facilitate a better future for ourselves, prosperity, posterity. Did I pronounce that right? Yeah, posterity. And actually, be able to move forward and, transcend continuously in ascension. And, really fly in wondrous colors. And that's a wonderful thing, is that, of course, everybody's involved, and that's a wonderful, beautiful part of it. We're all ascending. And just like, trees, they're patiently, ascending with us. We all want to go together. Nobody should miss this. And this ascension is happening at an incredibly rapid rate because everybody wants to ascend, right? So, and of course, that's, in a sense, a choice, in a sense. Anyway, that's the wonderful thing about how it's like this statement is not to limit, of course, because they know they're not limited, but our neighbors, the Agarthans, they've been living, their society has been going on for tens of thousands of years, and so they understand that we need to ascend together, like not just half a planet, but the entire planet. So, in a sense, they're kind of patiently waiting for us, to ascend with them. And it's not like they're patiently waiting. It's like they're actively. It's like we're doing everything, in a sense. It's like kind of like we're doing everything we can, but we don't. See, of course, it's important to reiterate their culture and their science is thousands of years ahead of ours, so we can't even understand what they're doing. Like, it's just their lifestyle is it just doesn't really make sense. It's a completely different form of life, and it's like it's like if you have a 18th century house, people that lived there for the 18th century, and then you immediately interject them into the 21st century, into that household, there would be things that they don't even know how to use. It's just like it never even came to them. Like, they don't know what a faucet is. They, like, someone from the 18th century, they've never seen a shower or a shower head or maybe they've seen a bathtub, but they haven't seen a bathtub where you turn something and water comes out and you can make it hot or cold. They probably don't really know what toothpaste is, or they definitely never seen a TV, or wouldn't even know why we watch TV, or they wouldn't even understand the conversation that we have about the stuff that's on TV, which is what most of our conversations are, the stuff that we see and the stuff we hear. Same thing with radio, and you couldn't explain electricity to them. Maybe electricity was around during that time. Well, who knows? Time is relative. That wonderful, beautiful thing about electricity, how is even just, it's like it's a stepping stone for stepping stone, no pun intended, for Livingstone. It's a stepping stone for that genre of energy transition, which is what we're getting into. And so, it's, of course, it's important that we start, what are we going to do? What are some of the things? It's really easy. You of course, the body, those are the things that we need to enhance. Mental body, the physical body, the emotional body. And mental, of course, all those nutraceuticals, neurotropics, those are very good. But, of course, the elevated level of health that we're going to be getting with free sonic healing, sonic healing, which is a type of free energy device. Interesting how I did that. See how I did that there? It's a sonic healing device, energy that heals your body. It's sound waves. If you have cancer in your heart, you just vibrate the tone that vibrates your heart frequency, and then the cancer just falls away. Or chondriana, life crystals, those are very good things as well. So health, that's a wonderful transition. And of course, it's free. Like, everything that we're going into is free. There's no cost. And that's like, it's kind of why I don't like taking money, because it's like, we're not going to need it. Like, it's going to, like, why would I take money to go into a system where we're not going to need money? It's totally counterproductive, which is, like, if you read my book, Project Hypercane, and you can find it on my website, I'll give that information shortly. But if you read Project Hypercane, that book really, it kind of describes, in a sense, if you're able to use critical thinking, like, it kind of describes basically why we don't need money. And it's going to help that understanding to why we don't need money. And that's a very big topic. I'm not going to explain it, but it's in the book. You got to read it. And then maybe, and it's, every idea is built off somebody else. We all came from the plethora of ideas that came before us. So that's what that book is. Ultimately, it's a collaboration in action, from decades and decades prior. So it's made up of history. So yeah, health, that's one of them. Energy, that's another. The energy sector is going to be completely revolutionized in a positive, beautiful, amazing way that helps the entirety of humanity. That stuff is already underway. And of course, that stuff like 0 point energy, free energy, that's going to basically replace engines in cars. And that's a very wonderful thing. Of course, it's supposed to be positive, supposed to be prosperous, and it's going to, it's going to blow people's minds about just how wonderful that is, of course. Energy, that's the other thing. Just the way that we live, our lifestyle. We're not only going to be living on land, it's going to be awesome because we can live in the oceans now without disturbing life. That's the other thing, environment. So what is that? Is that demographics? No. It's living. So our standard of living is going to go way up, of course. And of course, our standard of living goes up, but it's going to be so high, it's going to be incomprehensibly beautiful. We're going to have wonderful ocean cities. We're going to have wonderful ocean structures, and we're just going to have a whole new age of the understanding of how we see agriculture, literature, all that, philosophy. Everything is going to be magnificent change, drastic change. It's going to be, oh my gosh, it's so fast. Now, that's just with living oceans. And there's so many things we don't know. So we can actually really discover the unexplored, the unknown, and we can actually really be fully well-rounded, like basically finally have like the type of intelligence or the type of interest and hunger for curiosity as an Andromedan. Basically be every human being, man, woman, child, can be a type of Renaissance man. That's the only thing I can compare it to, because we haven't necessarily got there yet, because we're still in our infancy. This planet's still in its infancy, but at the same time, we are, oh my goodness. It's a type of wave that we are riding so well. It is literally being watched. Like, spectacle is the Earth. Like, look at Earth blow up to be the brightest star that we've ever seen. And that's really what we're so excited about, is that we can create this planet into a star. This planet is becoming a star. So that's all about, that's why it's important that everybody is, not important, but it is important. It's exciting because everybody is a part of this ride, a part of Ascension, and nobody wants to miss it. And we're not going to let anybody miss this, because she's going to be a star. She's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, the foundation of that galactic society is what's going to help us, basically reach out our hands to those extremely advanced, spiritually loving extraterrestrials. And it's just like, it's so beautiful, the way that we touch, the way that we communicate, just our nature, the way we can transform. And we are part of creating Renaissance. We are part of creating Dragost. We are part of creating this beautiful transition, and it's lovely. So that was about the living, the galactic society, just the way that we view. That's the other thing, the way that we think, the way that we communicate, the way that we transition. That whole process is, of course, going to be accelerated, and it's going to be, ultimately, our bodies are going to be, how dead plants turn into folic acid, which turns into coal, which turns into a diamond over millions of years. Same thing for their bodies. They're going to be turning into diamonds. So, like a, crystalline structure, all that kind of stuff. You can look it up, but I'm not going to explain that. But I'm just excited to announce that wonderfully, and we are once again going to continue to transition into this wonderful transition that we're all living through. And I love you all very, very much. I love you all so much. Thank you for your support. Oh, I meant to give my website name. I'll probably do the next one. I'm not really eager to take your money, as opposed to some people on Earth. But I love you all. Thank you for your support. My name is Christopher Bowen, and this is a hosting that I hosted of the Oyster. Love you. Good night.